What's up? How you guys doing tonight? All right. Tonight I want to talk about this here photo. And like usual, I'm always going to throw a spin on it. I'm going to throw a spin on it without all the hee hee ha ha, you got knocked the fuck out type bullshit that everybody keeps throwing memes and different types of things and all the other stuff. Because I'm going to be honest with you, man. I did not laugh at it. I just looked at it as Nate Robinson just being a fool for taking a fight that knowing good and well he was going to be outboxed and outclassed. But once again, I'm going to put my takes on this, and I'm going to tell you what the issues are. But first thing first, I'm going to talk about this here photo. This of course to your left. This was off the fight between Jake Paul and Nate Robinson. It was on the fight card of the Mike Tyson Roy Jones Jr. fight, and let's just keep it real here. This fight was actually the most talked about fight because of what you're seeing right here. Like I said, sports is bad when you have to watch celebrities box now. They're literally making a mockery out of it. And two, when I heard the fight, I saw the fight, of course, on Twitter because everybody puts the fight on there. And I hear Snoop Dogg on there. That's when you know it's bad. When you got to bring him in it. It seems like they keep bringing him in everything that they do. So, like I said, I guess him apologizing to Gayle King after him calling her out about the Kobe Bryant thing, he was able to get back in the good graces of the media. But let's talk about this here photo. I'm going to tell you something. Black folks, white folks, and the media are going to make a mockery out of you. They will. Everything that you put in high esteem, everything that you put in high ranks, they are going to take it and spin it in their favor because of you. That's what they're going to do. They took your beloved Muhammad Ali and put him right next to Jake Paul. And keep in mind, Muhammad Ali knocked out Sonny Liston. And of course, he was a so-called black man. And that was supposed to be the photo that's supposed to... he fought for racism and he fought for equality and all that stuff. But yet still, he's standing over the top of knocking out a so-called black man because they claimed that he disrespected him, his name, and the so-called Nation of Islam. It had nothing to do with racism in that ring with Muhammad Ali. Had nothing to do with it. In fact, he was being, his trainers were white men, and it was funded by Jews. So next to it, your so-called beloved Muhammad Ali is right next to Jake Paul knocking out another black man by the name of Nate Robinson. This is what white folks are going to start doing. They are going to put their own spin on it. On your so-called beloved icon, Mr. I fight for racism and equality in the 60s and all that old silly mess, which he didn't. Muhammad Ali. All he said was, and I quote, why should I fight in Vietnam? Vietnam. They never called me nigger. Yeah, but I'm quite sure there was actually more Negroes calling you nigger than it was white folks calling you nigger. But don't get me wrong, Muhammad Ali, one thing I did like about Muhammad Ali, he went to different universities, different talk shows, and he did talk about how things were changing far as his situation with one of his ex-wives. And he talked about so-called what he'd been through with racism and how white people tried to tell him about racism, especially the women. And he talked about how women should know their place in the home. He talked about those things, of course, but like I said, he didn't really talk about racism. He actually talked more about the woman's place and how everything is going into a reverse. That's what he spent most of his time talking about. And then, of course, he spent majority of his time mocking other black fighters, far as Joe Frazier and George Foreman and Sonny Liston and a couple other fighters. He did several mockeries about them. But all in all, Muhammad Ali fought for the Nation of Islam, a Marxist, racialist group who was always talking about black folks need to do this and black folks need to do that. But yet and still, you know, they put hits out on several other black folks, including Malcolm X, in their own so-called group. But this is what happens, and last but not least, we all know that majority of black folks would never join the Nation of Islam because that's not what black folks do. Black folks side with the money and the government. First the government, then they side with the dollar bill. That's what black people do. And that is one of the biggest issues in the so-called black community is we follow the government and the dollar bill. But back to this photo here. Sports Center, the beloved woke center, is making a mockery out of black folks. They know that black people look up to that image. It talks about they're knocking out racism or they're knocking out equality. He's fighting against racism and he's fighting against oppression for black folks. And next to it, they put a white boy knocking out a black man. Like I said before, and I'm going to say it one more time. You see on the photo, two black men on the canvas. The one standing up is your so-called hero. And to your left, the white boy stands over top of the so-called black man. And this was done by the liberal sports media called Sports Center. And yes, indeed, black folks, they are going to use you as a mockery. Everything that you do, they are going to spin it in all kinds of phases. I saw on social media, they said they took it down. It's too late now. They put it up for a reason. But it kills me when people always say, well, we would apologize for what I said. It was taken out of content, or we took the Twitter thing down because we didn't mean to offend. No, you put it up on purpose. That was done on purpose. Once again, black folks are never going to get it because black folks right now are too busy laughing. They're laughing with the hee ha ha. Nate got knocked out, making a mockery out of the situation. But this picture, to me, white folks are actually making a mockery out of you. That's what this picture says to me. Because they're literally comparing this so-called white boy by the name of Jake Paul knocking out Nate Robinson as comparing to Muhammad Ali. And like I said before, and I'll say it again, black folks, you always going to be the guinea pigs. And you never realize it. You're never going to realize it because it's not in your nature to. All you want to do is party and bullshit. That's all you want to do. And make every damn thing racist. And make every damn thing a racial thing when it comes to white people. And white people are going to spin things in their favor each and every time. And I blame you for that. But that's your fault. That's your fault. And because you know what? The next stupid thing black folks are going to do, white folks are going to make a mockery again out of it. Because white folks always put themselves 5, 6, 7, let's keep it real here, about 10 to 15, maybe 20 steps ahead of you every time. So yes, they took your so-called hero, Muhammad Ali, as he knocks down and knocks out another black man, and put him right next to a white boy who knocked out another black man. Once again, by the liberal sports media, which called Sports Center, and black folks, guess what? You laughing at Nate Robinson, but guess what's happening right now? The liberal sports media and white folks who side with this stuff is laughing at you too.